But for the time being, onwards we go. Blink scroll, heck yeah. Okay, very much love to see that. Unseen horror, not quite as scary when you're completely visible, friend. Sorry to diminish some of your gravitas. Such is the way of life. Thanks, Ash. And we'll continue just cleaning up the detritus here, I guess, as it were. You do get the conjuration buff for your spells, but not on damage on bopping. Exactly, yeah. No bops here, but still pretty solid across the board. It's at least interesting. It's not often that we actually run a build that keeps in the staff training. Usually I end up swapping off for something slightly more immediately effective, I guess. Unless it's something like the Staff of Wukad Mu, and then everything's out the window there. But it's intriguing to say the least. We'll move on for now. That is an early Orocha. Oh, the Elemental Staff. Oh, I wish, Shaper. I guess that's actually, I said Mukad Wu, but at the end of the day, Elemental Staff is my favorite staff of the entire game. One of my favorite unrand arts, I'd argue, actually. It's nice to have something that's that cool mix of defensive and offensive capability, as well as really strong kind of theming throughout. But Orocha this early, extremely dangerous, I think, is a little bit of an understatement here, game. 33% chance of banishment. Oof. Oof. If you want to end a promising Djinni run, that's one way to do it. We do have Mephitic Cloud, which means we could try and confuse Orocha right away. Orocha? Orocha. I feel like Orocha is like an English bastardization of the entire word. It probably would be Elroca or something. At least generally with my experience in the unique names in this game. The way that my brain wants to say it, usually not correct. But let's do it. Let's confuse you. Of course, it doesn't work right away. She does waste a turn going invisible, so that's pretty sweet. Shaper, you like Elemental Staff and Wormbane as a tie for your top favorite unrads. I feel like I've never really had Wormbane. I've only used it in some of the sprint modes in the game where it's guaranteed. But one of these days we'll get a pop off with Wormbane and I'll get to see what all the fuss is about. Actually, you always like using stats for the wizardy flavor. That's totally fair. And I appreciate you putting in the extra step to keep with the thematic nature, get some flavor going in there. I like it. Shapers will use staves quite often for casters. No, it's something that I feel like I need to use more in a weird kind of fashion. I find that I use staves more often when they're completely useless and there's no real reason to be using them. And I oftentimes forget to take advantage of them when there is a functional reason that I should be doing so, rather. We get another curse here, and this time we're getting all the introspection, which is incredible. Don't get me wrong. Armor and shields are both really solid things as well. I mean, all the staff talk. Maybe we'll have to do something about that. I also just realized we're like an hour into this run, and I've had the wrong seed up on the screen the whole time. So let's try and fix that real quick, shall we? Just in case any of you lovely folk want to join in on your own, try out the exact same run we're doing now, see how you manage to fare. We'll pop our seed up. Just be a quick moment here as I navigate to the appropriate folders to grab that son of a gun. And crawl, morgue, Aladdin Sand. There we go. So let us I copy and I paste. So there we go. Just in case anybody, as mentioned, wants to join us, try on the run for size themselves, see if they can't do better than us, which, I mean, if we're being honest, I mean that more so as in show that they can indeed navigate this run better than us. Definitely give it a shot. I'm not sure how the Djinni spells work with seeding. That's actually slightly intriguing to me. I don't know if you're guaranteed to get the exact same selection of Djinni spells and or the same Ashenzari curses. How games end up randomly generating stuff is always a bit of an interesting topic, because that's either going to be seed based or it can oftentimes be based on like the internal clock of your system or something like that, down to the picosecond kind of thing. It is not the same. Okay, so it does use a more traditional randomization strategy. Interesting. That's good to know. Thank you for that. So it's kind of interesting. You'll get to navigate the exact same dungeon, but have a little bit of your own twist, your own flavor added on top of that. It's a weird mix where I don't actually know what is kind of more fun to try out on your own in the future. Having something exactly the same or having something just different enough to make things interesting. I like it. Yeah, the items and enemies, exactly. The dungeon layout itself will at least be the exact same. Okie dokie. Managing to go pretty solidly so far. I'm barely thinking about what we're actually doing here. Instead, much more preoccupied with the lovely discussion topics in chat here, which I very much appreciate. Hopefully, ideally, we'll be able to continue with our good fun here. Longer we can do so, better we're feeling about our overall chances of success for sure. And we almost got absolutely destroyed by the demon conjurer there. The kobold that on its own, no threat whatsoever, but me oh my, when they summon the wrong demons at their disposal, oh boy, rough stuff. We'll continue to use Searing Ray here to just melt all these Lair enemies as they try and approach us. There is a reason why Searing Ray is one of my favorite conjuration spells, even into the later parts of the game here. It's much like how on a fire elementalist, we end up using Foxfire for the majority of our early game, like even up to this stage through Lair. I'll find myself using Foxfire in a similar sense. On Conjurers, Searing Ray, worth its weight for quite an impressive length of the overall game here. Though at some stage, probably as we get to Lair, we'll be replacing it with more prodigious use of... whatchamacallit? Oh, I never took that curse, did I? Son of a gun. I'm my own worst enemy for sure. I was gonna throw it on our staff. That's actually when I initially brought up the fact that we were talking so much about staves. That was exactly what I was going to use that as a segue for. Whoops. But hopefully we'll be okay. Not the end of the world. We are getting smitten here. Smitten like a kitten. Oh geez. Also, this ogre is not confused. What the heck is even that, sir? You were supposed to be confused, friend? Not okay. Let's place Fulminant Prison there. I panicked for a moment thinking that I got hit by somebody, but no, right? When we cast spells, we get hurt. Red flashes, all part of the experience of the ride. No need to panic. Just sit back and enjoy the show. Okay. Oh, we managed to survive again despite my own best attempts to stupidly end it all. Here we are. Love to see it. Sometimes the run is just too strong, and even your best attempts to curb it into the ground isn't going to be enough. Also, +3 ring mail we should actually pick up, because we will have a decent amount of armor training as we continue on here, thanks to our curses that we've managed to gain, our curses and our visions from Ashenzari here. So that is fantastic in its own right. We'll keep filling the air with Foxfire and letting enemies end themselves. Love to see it. Fantastic work. Ah, there we go. Confusion. That throws me off at the very least. I believe clarity is one of the effects we get in the future, right? Indeed we do. So that is fantastic. Looking forward to the day for sure. Oh gosh, I'm confused again. Stop it. Stop that. There we go. Silly orc wizard. Just delaying the inevitable. because I am inevitable. And let us definitely throw up a Mephitic Cloud to try and keep these buddies slightly on the back foot here, especially if we're just going to stand in the middle of a crowd. Fantastic stuff. I think largely the Yaks took themselves out there, if I had to guess, actually. But we'll Mephitic Cloud one last time for this pack. Let's make sure to make that clear. We also gained a spell at some point and was not paying attention. We got Lightning Bolt. Ooh. And start getting a little fancy with our positioning. Some ricochet potential here. In general, it's just nice to have a piercing source of damage. Any of these bolt spells are a pretty good find in this middle section of the game, to say the least. So that is fantastic. And I was about to say onwards we go. I don't think we'll be heading down quite yet. Instead, let's start exploring our lair. We can at least dip our toes in, take a quick temperature test of the waters, see how she goes. Ah, slightly frightening is the answer I was looking for. Well, in that case, let's think about this for a second. I mean, we could still use some combination of Fulminant Prism and Gale's Gravitas. Even with Blink Frogs jumping around the entire screen here, that might be enough to absolutely blast them. So I'd say put it somewhere like here, and then it's hard to get you all. It doesn't look like this affects me. I don't know if that's just a visual thing. I believe when we looked at the spell description, it did say enemies specifically. So let's take another look, shall we? All nearby creatures save the caster. There we go. That's what I like to hear. Fantastic stuff. So with that in mind, let's pull everyone here, and then I can pivot that into pulling everyone like here. Maybe a little disappointing in terms of my ability to actually get enemies where we wanted them there, but that's fine. I also was confused there for a second, but I think our Foxfires were just quickly zip around the corner. That makes sense. It looked like we were just waiting turns and the frog was dying, which, I mean, isn't always impossible by any stretch, but is not something this character should have at their disposal. And Komodo Dragon is going to be a wee bit frightening. We're going to start off by just blasting our own feet with Mephitic Cloud, potentially saving us some harm. Oh wow, even the Komodo Dragon getting pulled into it at the end. This is going to be a nightmare. Okay, there we go. This is a bit more of a fitting crowd for us to take care of. So we can even throw in the occasional IMB here just to get some damage down. Fantastic stuff. This is where something like Worshipping McCleb starts to pay dividends, because with these really kind of lower cost mana spells, you can just spam them indefinitely, just shoving and shoving. But I guess the health total advantage that we've gained from Ashenzari already to this point in the game, something to be said about that for sure as well. Let's head back down one last time. Hopefully we confuse everyone. Perfect, we did manage to do so. Get off my case, blast them back, and let's actually go for a rebound shot on our Komodo friend. Fantastic stuff. Make sure we confuse the rest of you. Boulder Beetle, I'm not a fan of right now. So we're going to keep stair dancing a little bit. It's been quite the adventurous start to the floor here, to say the least. I mean, Boulder Beetles are susceptible to poison, but that's not doing a whole lot for us in the short term here. I guess IMB kind of does some interesting things to help us out. Let's see, what happens when we confuse a rolling beetle? Anything? I'm not sure if it ran into its friends or not. Interesting. I'm going to throw a Fulminant Prism here. It's likely that it gets smashed in the stumbling of our foes, but if it doesn't, then we're definitely happy here. In fact, let's pull everyone here if possible. Not quite what we're looking for, but tis what it is. Yeah, those blink frogs hit like a truck when they get going, eh? And now the question becomes, do we want to keep pushing it? I mean, if you know me, you know my answer is yes. Against what might be the sane and correct answer, of course I want to push it past the logical conclusion, but maybe just this once. We'll do as we say instead of as we normally would do. Holy cow. Boulder Beetle is not interested in becoming confused. Not great. Let's drink a potion of healing. Can I and B to just get them off of us? What the heck are you doing here? Where did you come from, sir? What? How did I miss a Guardian Serpent appearance? That's bad. That seems very bad. Okay, this just got a whole lot more interesting because we might just die in one shot if we go down the stairs. How about that? So instead of doing so right away, let's change over to a +3 ring mail and see how that affects our casting. The answer is not at all, so that seems prudent. That seems like an intelligent maneuver. Definitely start wearing that. And in fact, now that both fighting and spellcasting are starting to get up there, starting to look pretty good in terms of overall training here, I think it's just about time that we start leaning into defensive skills. So we'll start on armor since we have a decent start in that regard already. And potentially we'll be in plate armor slinging these spells at some point. That'd be pretty sweet. So Orc has good beaches this time for the dungeon. Probably be a smart pivot, but I do want to keep going. Could also retell anything, go down and pray. Ash might listen. Honestly, I don't think it's the be-all end-all. Especially now that we're in slightly heavier armor. You can even take a peek. We look down here. You do like 34 damage. These do 32 or 64, depending on if they're rolling or not. So 32 upon entrance down the stairs. So if everyone hits max, that's still not a one-shot death. And when you put it that way... Oh, right, I forgot about you. So never mind. They all rolled the absolute max, while I also simultaneously rolled 1s on all my armor class checks, then maybe, just maybe, we would have been in a tough spot. But this isn't too bad here. 1 scroll of fear if we want to go that regard. I feel once we max fighting and spellcasting, we gotta dump XP somewhere. Maybe armor and a weapon. It'll probably be, yeah, weapon, all the defensive skills, and evocations is definitely on my agenda here, on the short list of skills to take in the future, for sure. Let's see what we want to do here. We have 3 summoning early on. That's wild. It's just the character you expect to lose, honestly, but couldn't befit a cloud. We're hoping for good immediate effects on everybody. Shouldn't die in 1 turn, at least. IMB pushes everybody off of us, keeps the way clear. Can throw down 1 fulminant prism, like here-ish. Blast everyone, get out of my face, please. And all of you will get pulled into the blast. Okay, it wasn't quite as effective as I initially hoped, but definitely clearing the way. Guardian Serpent and Komodo Dragon down, that's something. That's definitely a whole lot of something. Glad to see it. Now it's just these sons of guns left to deal with. Get out of here. Stop it. Stop. Just keep IMBing you until you're out of here. Yells gravitas. Try and bring both these buddies into the explosion. I think we were successful on 1 front there, so I'll take it. And last but not least, about time we took out this lightning. I mean, sure, it causes a ruckus, and we're likely to bring... There we go, the rest of the floor on our head. Welcome, Wolf. You're the first to show up to the party. Hope you enjoy your time here. Okay, I know it's not reckless. Don't worry, game. Regardless of what it may seem like, this one time we're not being reckless. I feel like I'm going to be getting that message a whole lot as this run progresses. Hello, my moccasined friend. Lovely. Ooh, and an 8-headed Hydra. Hello there. Well, we can definitely use IMB in order to retain some measured distance from our new friend here. And with that in mind, I believe we want to do something like this, and then out of range, like this. And then we just have to make sure we step out of the range of fire. Perfect. Fulminant Prison Gauntlet. Exactly. You got it, Shaper. That is pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, you just got to make sure that you're positioning them where they're not going to blast each other out of existence, and they will hit on the line of interest, I guess, as it were. Now, all of you can just get confused, and then what wins? One swole yak or one tiny little flame boy? I guess more than one, if we're being completely fair. No need to lie when we're already at a pretty sure advantage overall here. Fantastic stuff. Multiple little flame boys is what we'll say for in the future. Make sure we give these yaks credit where credit is due, right? And now we keep casting into Oblivion until we put ourselves into one-shot range when I'm not paying attention and probably die a horrible death. But hey, what is life without a little bit of risk? At least the screen tries its best to let me know with the red flashes that I'm doing something stupid here. Oh, especially with the cane toad walking out of the blue. Ooh, me oh my. Well, my new friends, welcome to the party. There we go. Djinni do kind of be like this at times. That's fair. It's just the growing pains at the very least. Make sure we lead everyone into our fulminant prisms. We're also making tons of noise, I guess, whenever we explode these prisms, so there's that to keep in mind. Probably plays a role, if we're being honest. And perfect. Fulminant prisms will be our go-to against all of these Hydra pals early on here. Fantastic stuff. Finish you off with a lightning bolt. Regen is so strong because of this. Yeah, I'm very much hoping that we find ourselves with some good sources of regen as the run continues here. We also get ranged abilities and cunning as our next curse here. I mean, cunning's not bad. Dodging and stealth, pretty solid, but not exactly what we're looking for, so we'll probably let this one turn over, as it were. Beautiful. So we just have to keep in mind with fulminant prism, since we're not super well versed in its use, it takes 2 turns to fully charge up to blasting potential. Hold up. Oh, I can't wear boots. No. Oh, of course, the one time we find 7 league boots, it's on a Djinni. That's fine. I'm pretty sure the last time I got 7 league boots, I almost got myself killed because of them, so I guess small miracles. The game actually has itself out for us, making sure that we don't do anything too stupid. Let's bring everyone into the blast radius here. Fantastic. Bring one friend upstairs for a little bit of an after party. Beautiful. Dang them boots, unfortunately. Very classic DCSS, I agree, Eckley. And safe and see of a hot new strat for survival when you're facing down a bunch of enemies. You call it walk away? Nah, that doesn't sound right. I'm confused. Why wouldn't you just keep trying to like force it till it fits and potentially get yourself killed in the process? I'm lost. I don't know. This walking away thing might be too big brain for me. But beautiful. Definitely going all right here. We'll let all you folk die in a fulminant blast. Beautiful. Love to see it. And say goodbye the second we see even the slightest source of danger. Love to see it. No petrifying me today. I am not a happy customer. Ooh, and we get Spider. I feel like it has been an eternity since we got Spider as one of our S branches. I feel like we've been getting Shoal's Snake as our combo pretty much every game for the last long while. So I'm excited. It's going to be nice to see something slightly different from our norm. Not to mention that Shoals also has a tendency to make me panic and lose my wits a little bit, so that'll be nice. I guess I haven't confirmed that I don't have Shoals, right? Dang it, I shouldn't have said anything. Snake, I guess, though. Actually, now that I think about it for even a split second, Snake also makes me jump out of my boots, because lately, oh boy, have we been struggling with Snake. It's been a bit of a rough showing in terms of the majority of our characters attempting the area. So Spider might be kind of nice. I mean, sure, as a squishy caster, you're liable to get kind of annihilated by Spider, especially those ghost moths definitely aren't fooling around and are going to be a little bit of a stressor moving forward. As long as we can deal with them, we'll be a-okay. Swamp. I'm hoping for Swamp. We have some like fire tricks up our sleeve to create fog. Lots of positional advantages. I guess that's kind of the negativity, or negative aspect rather, of finding Spider. Besides what we were just mentioning, the squishiness of casters, is that positional stuff, like a lot of our magic currently is, gets to be a little bit trickier to pull off when everything's so fast. And I mean, jumping spiders are kind of the textbook example of a pain in the butt, because not only are they high speed, they also don't exactly follow the rules of physics as most monsters understand them in this lovely game. Ooh. Condenser vein, that warrants an immediate re-specialization into evocations. Thank you very much. Still focusing down our main skills for a little while here. In fact, maybe we'll swap that around. Let's change spellcasting and fighting to just be always on in the background. Nice little back burner to keep ourselves progressing in that regard. And armor and evo will instead be the focuses of our attention. We'll let those train up just slightly faster, since they actually have some level of limiter on it. But there we go. We do get fortitude and introspection back. Thank you, Ash. I'm so sorry for spurning your first offering of this, because I meant to take it. I'm just a fool sometimes. I'm just a fool. Will you ever forgive me, Ash? And the question becomes, do we temporarily stick the Staff of Conjuration on us? Or do we want to commit to this ring mail? The ring mail isn't super interesting to me. It doesn't have any egos on it, not even, a basic resistance. Then like a ring mail of cold resistance could go a huge way in terms of protecting ourselves from our own stupidity. And I'm also kind of curious as to how heavy we can go in the armor department and still functionally cast our spells. We'll want to swap to Troll Leather AP, exactly. So see, there we go. That's another contender. So it's like heavier armors, better enchanted armors, and Troll Leather all competing over the ring mail. We're definitely attaching the Staff of Conjuration to our body, at least for the time being. Man, Fortitude and Introspection is a pretty potent combo, to say the least here. First Black Mamba. Fortunately, we are immune to poison, which is pretty solid. Fantastic stuff. Searing Ray does the trick. We potentially could have used Fulminant Prism there to ensure our success, but I'll take it. With Ash, we can go up as high as you want with armor. That is true. And I appreciate that, because for the longest time, it was pretty much just Shay, hey? If you wanted to become a truly, tanky caster wearing crystal plate armor or something like that, then you had to be a demigod or a Shay worshipper, but with Ash, all things are possible. Ugly chimes in as well. Exactly. That's a lot of fun, because now it's Ash and even Rue, potentially. I guess, no, wait. Rue, you're just sacrificing. For some reason, I always think that you gain some kind of advantage. But I think it's because I conflate Rue and Ash in my head too much, which is just silly. Not even a little bit the same, besides, I guess, limited time offers of showing up here or there. I'm sure there are multiple combos that I'm missing in terms of my quick summation there, but the point stands that for the longest time, it was a bit harder to go full hybrid. Oh my gosh, hello Rupert. Hello, friend. If you paralyze me, I'm just dead, I believe. If we fill the surrounding area, the intervening spaces, with just absurd amounts of mephitic clouds, on the other hand, now we're cooking with gas. This makes them safe from each other. Rupert might hit it in his confusion, but don't we all get a little confused sometime? Absolutely blasted. Oh, he did, in fact. I think get rid of it. You son of a gun. How dare you? That was my fulminant prism, you bee. In that case, let's place 2 more of these. And then this time around, I'm going lightning. I'm stepping back from my problems. If only we had ignite poison. Oh me oh my. If a Djinni run ever sees it in itself to give me ignite poison and Olgup's toxic radiation, just start signing the GG cards there, because that's a fantastic starting place. And Shaper, you like Ash but dislike Rue for whatever reason? I think I get that. Ash is an amplifier, which is why I actually really like Ash for Knolls specifically. Null-Ash combo is so much fun because you end up getting like level 9 spells castable in a 3-room game on Null. And by extension of that, you're casting all the level 9 spells, which is pretty wild. But with Rue, instead of expanding the possibilities of which skills you're going to be taking advantage of, I feel like you are kind of limiting yourself in exchange for huge amounts of power. Like we just saw on that last run with the demon spawn, just how strong Rue can operate as and make you become. But there is a bit of a grain of salt aspect there for sure, with the fact that it is limiting. And Null of Ash is your favorite combo, Enon? That's awesome. Yeah, definitely up there for me. I mean, I didn't even know that I loved it until this very series, but oh boy, did I figure that one out fast. That was absolutely spectacular when we had that run going. Null plus Ash also strong. You think Djinni and Null are kind of similar? They both have to deal with the best of what's available because of limitations. Yeah, I guess they do have that kind of that puzzly aspect that you were mentioning earlier, where you get to really work with all the pieces in your toolbox and see, you know, how do these fit together? How can I turn this kind of, at first blush, what may seem like an eclectic mix of combinations? How can I turn this into something synergistic and beautiful? And usually you end up getting there. So, no, I really like that train of thought. Definitely makes sense to me. Okie dokie. So far, Lair's going pretty solidly. We have fulminant prism mazes in order to take care of the truly threatening targets. Mephitic cloud for anything that's not poisonous resistant, so that's pretty sweet. DCSS heard your Shoals comments and granted my wish for a challenge. It's so sweet of the game, you know, to do that for me. Oh wow, thanks game, thanks. An avocado, thanks. But in all honesty, hey, well, we've made it through it on many a run in the past. I'm sure we can do one more time. We at least do have a lot of fire magic at our disposal, so there is that. Shoals were nerfed in 0.28. Did they get rid of Javelineers completely? Because if not, then I'm still scared. But that makes sense. That seems fitting. I really want this curse from Ash. Evocations and introspection again? Are you kidding me, game? Speaking of the game listening and giving me my greatest wishes and desires here. That's fantastic. Javelineers and Impalers were weakened. Okay. That definitely, yeah. They've been a frightening situation. I mean, partially I'm suffering PTSD flashbacks because of my recent demon spawn, of course, because silver javelins are, oh me oh my, quite the nightmare. But definitely makes sense to nerf that side of things. They're pretty tough customers, to say the least. But interesting. So I want to take this curse so badly. I wish we had an amulet that it was effective on. Maybe I do just curse my armor for now. Here's what we'll do. Let's do a quick search for armor, see if there's anything that we would immediately, you know, want to switch to. It doesn't look like it. Shield fire resistance. I know the truth. You're in a scary, scary vault. Don't try and trick me. Where is this hat? Also in a vault. Perfect. Do we have any other hats that I've missed? No. So yeah, unfortunately, that hat is in a scurry, scurry vault here. Yeah, with... Jeez Louise. Spriggans and... Did that thing in my head where I immediately went to say Wrath of Math, which is not right. Moth of Wrath. Yeah, definitely one of those them. Not what we're looking for. Cloak, I don't believe we've seen. Oh, D5. Holy cow. Can I make it there in time? It's a race against time. Come on. Come on. Don't you dare switch that curse, Ash. Beautiful. Never a doubt in my mind. Ooh, looking kind of snazzy, too. I like the old white cloak. I mean, white cloaks has bad connotations in my head because I've read Wheel of Time. I've been watching the new Amazon Prime series. Don't want to be thrown in the same boat, but it does look kind of sweet, don't it? Ash gives gifts based on exploration. Yeah. That's something because you used to just gain piety in general, right? And backtracking. Oh, backtracking never advanced the curse clock. That makes sense. Still, I like throwing in the extra tension, even if it's completely unneeded and unnecessary. But no, that is very, very useful to know. So thanks for the exploration. That does make sense though, because yeah, old Ash used to gain piety based on exploration, which I always thought was a pretty sweet mechanic. Do you not walk in the light, child? Oh no, unfortunately, as a male who also channels, I'm kind of at the crossroads of everything the White Cloaks hate. Okie dokie. Let's take our Blink friends on a little bit of a lovely jaunt here. Oh my gosh. No, I do not want to enter explore mode. That was just an accident. So maybe lightning bolt will do the trick. Jeez Louise. I blast you, and I blast you. Ooh, you're slightly scarier to blast like that as we're getting slightly closer to lower health. Bit dangerous. Now, I will say that I don't have the greatest memory of the Wheel of Time books, so I'm sure there's some good White Cloaks out there, but in general, I don't F with that, you know? Okie dokie. We can't pull the water moccasin into the blast. Oh, but now we can, you absolute fool. Get over here. Fantastic stuff. Out of curiosity, how many people in chat are watching the Prime series? And I guess as a caveat to that, have you watched or read the books as well? Because I've been very much enjoying watching the show with my partner who hasn't read any of the books, and so she's just throwing out guesses left and right. And I mean, some of them, who knows, the show is taking some creative liberties that I've really liked so far, and it does make things a bit more interesting in terms of predictions, but it's very fun to have some irony and effect in terms of things that they don't know yet but will become relevant. Eggly, you're rereading them now because of the series? That's awesome. I think I should do something like that, even just continuing from where I left off, because I got past where most people consider the slog. I think I read up to book 10. I maybe was on 11 the last time I tackled the series. So one day I'll get back to it. But even just watching the show has definitely caused a decent flood of memories to come back to me as it goes. And I also, it's one of my brother's favorite book series, and he's been very excited for the show, so every week when the new episodes come out and my partner and I watch them together, I definitely message him right away to see what he thought of the latest episode. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I would recommend it. Yeah, even if you haven't read the books at all, it's a really well done series for the most part. A couple things have been slightly disappointing, but in general, it's been fantastic. They've made some really interesting and cool changes with certain characters, and they've also, done a good job, I think, of bringing people up to speed who haven't read the books. I think they found a nice balance point between keeping it entertaining for people like me, or especially people like my brother who have reread the books multiple times over the years, as well as new people, because my wife is absolutely loving it and has been very much enjoying it, watching it with me. So that's been awesome. And yeah, just watch as far as episode 3 at the very least, and you'll most likely be hooked in. Episode 3 is fantastic. Ooh, and look at that. We do get another cloak here. The Cloak of the Wheelwright. Kind of sucks that that's a pretty nice cloak. It would be pretty sweet and convenient if it was just a piece of garbage, but I actually do kind of want to switch out our current cloak for this. Son of a gun. You son of a gun, you. So, we get rid of one of our stacks of evocations and introspection. Ash does be like this, that's fair. Hey, it keeps you on your toes, makes things a little bit interesting, right? And I like the ebb and flow. I like the overlapping mechanics of it, where like, okay, I have all these upgrades which will sustain me while I get rid of this one for just long enough to swap out. I remember on our knoll that played with Ashenzari, we went at one point through like an entire equipment change, and so it's such a like staggered process of what can we afford to get rid of now. We won't gain an advantage for, you know, a while here, have to survive until then. I found it a really fun kind of mental calculus to go over for sure. Shaper, you like to wait for a bad curse offer, then break the curse because it deletes the offer. That is a, really solid piece of advice. I mean, even right now, fortitude and range, I don't need these. I don't need this. So maybe, just maybe, now's the time. I like it. Negli as well was about to type that. Fantastic. Let's do it. Let's shatter the chains. The relativism of Ashenzari, as much as I like the name, it's definitely up there in terms of name. In fact, I'm slightly disappointed that our staff doesn't get a cool name. What's up with that? Honestly, Ashenzari, kind of disgusting that you wouldn't give our staff a cool, badass nickname, but hey, you do you. I'm not the all-powerful, omnipotent deity in the sky, so what can I say? I'm just the idiot who slings spells in your name. So, how about that? Bug report. Bug report. What do you mean? No, this just quit forever. Absolutely unplayable. No excuse. No amount of time will ever solve the emotional damages inflicted upon us by the discovery of this game-breaking bug. I think it's just over. End the whole Greater Player series where it stands right now. I mean, sure, we've put in months and months of effort and hundreds of hours across the various species, and for what? For what, I ask you? But of course, all comes out in the wash. And at the end of the day, how could I ever quit you, DCSS? Even with your flaws, even ones as bad as this. Sometimes, just gotta let you be you, I guess.